Hi everyone, my name is Ahmad Al-Dahmi. We present a group four with my teammate Sean and Kwang. So we're talking here about AI ethics in modern warfare. Uh, Artificial intelligence is already being used in real military system as of today, and it raises a serious question about how we use it, how control it, and what happened when things go wrong. So I'm going to share my personal perspective of this issue, and I'm going to close with the team conclusion. So my perspective about that is my concern is the most is accountability. So the real example in is Project Maven. This is a project used by US military that use AI to analyze surveillance videos and help identify potential targets. Um, it is already being used as of today. Now imagine that the system makes a mistake, it flag a wrong person, a decision is made based on that information, someone gets hurt. Who's responsible? The company that builds AI, or the analyst who trusted it, or the commander who gave the order? So the honest answer of that, nobody is clearly responsible. So responsibility get spread across so many people that in the end, no one is fully held accountable. So for me, that is not just a technical problem. This is like a moral problem. And I believe that when it comes to a decision about human life, someone must be responsible. So a machine can feel the weight of that decision, only human can. So in my view, AI can be very helpful to process information faster and support decision making, but the final decision, especially when it comes to life, our stack must be always a human being made this decision. So we need to really re, enforce like some of the rules about how AI can be used in warfare. And right now, these rules not does not exist, and this is like a problem.
Intelligence is becoming more common in modern warfare, especially in systems used for surveillance, threat detection, and autonomous weapons. These technologies can process information very quickly and may help military forces respond faster than humans alone. However, they also raise serious ethical concerns. In my view, the three key issues in this topic are human dignity, autonomy, and accountability. The first key issue is human dignity. This issue asks whether a machine should ever be involved in deciding who lives or dies. In warfare, decisions about using force are not only technical decisions, they are also moral decisions because they affect human life. When AI is used to identify or attack targets, there is a risk that killing becomes more distant and automated. For example, military drones such as the Predator drone can track and strike targets remotely. Even though humans are still involved, the process is already becoming less direct. This raises concern that the value of human life may be treated more like data than something that deserves moral consideration. The second key issue is autonomy. This is about how much control humans should keep over AI systems. AI can react much faster than people, and in some cases, that speed can be useful. For example, the Iron Dome system can detect and intercept incoming missiles very quickly. In defensive situations like that, automation may help save lives. But the issue becomes more serious when AI is used in offensive systems. If AI is allowed to decide when and who to attack without human approval, then humans are giving up control over very serious decisions. This creates an ethical concern about whether AI is only helping people or starting to replace human judgment. The third key issue is accountability. This means deciding who is responsible when an AI system causes harm. In traditional warfare, responsibility is usually clearer because decisions are made by people in a chain of command. But when AI is involved, responsibility can become harder to identify. If an AI system selects the wrong target and causes civilian harm, it may be unclear whether the developer, the operator, the commander, or the government is responsible. This becomes even more difficult if the AI system changes over time after deployment. Without clear accountability, the use of AI in warfare becomes very risky. From my personal perspective, these three issues all connect to one main belief, which is that human beings should remain responsible for decisions involving human life. I understand that AI can improve speed, efficiency, and even reduce some human errors. I also understand that military competition may push countries to develop these technologies quickly. However, I believe that efficiency should not be more important than ethics when lives are at stake. My personal values make me place more importance on human judgment, responsibility, and respect for life. Because of that, I think AI can be useful as a support tool, especially in defensive systems, but it should not fully replace humans in lethal decisions. For me, the most important point is that technology should remain under meaningful human control.
Hi, my name is Sean McGowan, and I will be discussing unintended stakeholders and impacts. On February 28th of this year, a U.S. airstrike destroyed a girls' elementary school in Manab, Iran, killing approximately 175 people, the vast majority of them girls between the ages of 7 and 12. In the immediate aftermath, media coverage fixated on whether an AI system, specifically Anthropic's Claude, which had been integrated into military targeting workflows, had selected the school as a target. But as reporting from The Guardian, Semaphore, and CNN eventually revealed, the truth was actually more unsettling than a rogue algorithm. The building had been misclassified as a military facility in a Defense Intelligence Agency database that hadn't been updated in at least a decade, despite satellite imagery clearly showing it had been converted into a school. This wasn't an AI failure, it was a human failure to maintain data made lethal by the speed and automation of systems built around it. To understand how something like this happens, you have to look at how AI actually operates in military targeting processes, particularly through Project Maven and platforms like Palantir, which serve over 25,000 military users. These systems are designed to assist human decision making, not replace it. But in practice, AI shapes every stage of the kill chain. It ingests massive streams of drone video, satellite imagery, and signals intelligence. It assigns confidence scores to potential targets and surfaces ranked lists for analysts. And critically, what the AI doesn't flag may never be seen by a human at all. The algorithm is effectively defining the hypothesis space that operators work within. Analysts then review these flagged targets, but they're doing so under time pressure, and the interface design creates a natural pull towards confirming what the AI has already surfaced rather than questioning it. Commanders, meanwhile, rarely see raw sensor data. They're looking at AI curated summaries. So even in systems where humans are formally in the loop, the AI is actively shaping how lethal force gets conceptualized, authorized, and carried out. This all played out against the backdrop of a major confrontation between Anthropic and the Department of Defense. The DoD demanded that Anthropic remove the ethical safeguards in its AI models that restricted their use in mass surveillance and fully autonomous weapons. Anthropic refused. In response, the Pentagon designated Anthropic a supply chain risk, effectively cutting them off from defense contracts, and signaled it would turn to competitors like Google, OpenAI, and xAI instead. Now, the formal stakeholders of military AI are obvious: the DoD, defense contractors, military operators, but the real ecosystem of people affected is much broader, and most of them have no voice in the process. Civilian populations living under persistent AI surveillance can have their ordinary daily activities, like gathering in public or visiting certain buildings, flagged as suspicious by algorithms they can't see or contest. Beyond that, bystanders captured in battlefield video get swept into training datasets without their knowledge or consent. When the US shares AI generated intelligence with partner forces who may lack the legal constraints or technical literacy to use it responsibly, those partners can act on AI flagged leads in ways that violate proportionality, targeting political opponents or activists. Humanitarian workers and journalists operating in conflict zones find their movements registered as anomalies in AI pattern analysis, which chills field access. Tech workers, as we saw in the 2018 Google Maven controversy, discovered their general purpose engineering has been repurposed for lethal applications. And perhaps most importantly, the lethal and societal precedents being set right now around what counts as meaningful human control will define the norms that courts and future publics inherits for decades to come. The Manab bombing wasn't caused by an AI hallucination or a rogue algorithm. It was caused by people who failed to update a database and a system fast enough to turn that stale data into a strike before anyone caught the error. This is the central ethical tension. AI-enabled warfare compresses decision timelines to the point where human oversight becomes a formality rather than a genuine safeguard. The human-in-the-loop risks become a rubber stamp on an automated process. So where do I land on this? My position is pragmatic but firm. We are not going to uninvent these systems, and pretending we can halt their adoption isn't a serious policy stance. But what Manab proves urgently is that we need accountability infrastructure that matches the speed of the systems themselves. That means mandatory audit trails, independent oversight with real enforcement power, and clear chains of liability that can't be diffused into abstraction. The technology is not the villain here. Institutional negligence is, and AI amplifies it. The Anthropic case shows us there's currently no structural incentive to do the right thing. Regulation has to fill that gap so that responsible AI development becomes the floor, not a competitive disadvantage. Thank you.
And the conclusion here is AI does not remove responsibility from warfare. It just makes responsibility harder to see, spread it across system, organization, and nobody feel like fully accountable. Human life has a value, and because of that, decisions about the use of force should always involve a human being who understand the weight of that action. And we need accountability, transparency, and clear governance. And the question is not whether AI will be used in warfare. It already is using as of now. The question is whether we are going to responsible about how we're gonna using it. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm gonna give it to my teammate to continue. Thank you very much.